War in Israel tests Biden's foreign policy case for 2024. Jim Watson. Washington presidential races don't normally hinge on crises in distant nations, but the armed conflict that broke out in Israel threatens to undercut Joe Biden's argument that his foreign policy expertise is making the world more secure. The attacks launched by Hamas fighters exposed deficiencies in Israeli intelligence, experts said, while raising fresh questions about what the U.S. is getting in return for the time spent building surveillance capabilities and partnerships in the volatile Middle East. "This is an enormous intelligence failure by the Israelis and the Americans," said Bruce Riedel, a former CIA officer and Middle East specialist. "I don't see any reason to believe that either Washington or Jerusalem had any expectation this was coming." Follow live updates on Israel here. As a sitting president who pledged to restore competence in the foreign policy arena, Biden now faces accusations from political opponents that global trouble spots are multiplying on his watch. Polls show that Americans are turning against the Biden administration's arms deliveries to Ukraine in its grinding war with Russia. A U.S. Air Force general predicted in a memo in January that the U.S. and China could be at war by 2025. And a Biden administration initiative to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia is in danger of unraveling. If Israel's war with Hamas results in the deaths of Palestinian civilians in Gaza, the Saudis may sour on the idea of improving ties to the Jewish state. The Biden administration has spent an enormous amount of effort to work on an Israeli-Saudi normalization agreement, Riedel said. That's probably dead in the water now. Once there are pictures of hundreds of Palestinian casualties, including women and children, the Saudi population is not going to be willing to accept a normalization agreement. Republican presidential candidates were quick to fault Biden after Hamas launched its attack. GOP frontrunner Donald Trump's campaign put out a statement focusing on the $6 billion in Iranian oil revenues that the U.S. had frozen through sanctions. Iran has historically funded